and his wife Heather, and their daughter Aurora. We are honored to accept the Centennial Visionary Award on behalf of my late husband, their late father, Barry K. Worthington, who was the Executive Director of the United States Energy Association for 31 years. Barry was an extremely humble man, and I know he would want to say that this award is not just reflective of Barry, but it truly represents the vision, commitment, and sheer hard work and sacrifice of all the staff of the United States Energy Association and all its members. Barry absolutely loved working for USEA. It was his passion to bring people together to help create better lives through energy here in the United States and all over the world. I would like to take this opportunity to speak with you from the perspective of Barry's family. I think that is important because USEA, as successful and prominent as it is today, had very humble beginnings. When Barry took the helm of USEA here in Washington, D.C. in September of 1988, less than 3 weeks after our son was born in Detroit, Michigan, USEA was just Barry and his secretary at the time. Very humble beginnings. So much so that when his secretary was absent, I would go into the office with Barry and our baby Barry in tow. Our son would sit on my lap as I answered phones and typed. Our kids helping out during the first few years of USEA's start didn't stop there. If Barry had to go into the office on the weekend to prepare for something, our kids came with us and they helped out. Our daughter Carrie learned how to operate a Xerox machine when she was just 3 years old. From the beginning and throughout his tenure, Barry was able to communicate clearly that he believed in the vision of peace through electricity and energy. USEA became the symbol of that vision. USEA partnered the utilities of distant countries with American utilities, government associations, energy corporations, and universities. Barry traveled all the time. He went to at least one distant country or one American city each week, sometimes 2 or 3. But he always looked forward to coming home to his family by the weekend. All of you, staff and members, make an unforgettable impact on countless children and adults in the U.S. and throughout the world, so that they have the energy they need for education, medicine, transportation, and technological advances. Barry was able to articulate that vision of peace through energy in a clear and compelling way so as to have the greatest impact on the greatest number of states and countries that USEA is able to serve. Barry built relationships with people face to face, one person at a time, one city at a time, one country at a time. It was amazing to witness that vision bloom and grow by leaps and bounds as each year passed. In fact, during USEA's humble beginnings, we hosted dinners for delegations of people from other countries right in our home and in our backyard, with me cooking and our kids running around entertaining our guests. How lucky Barry Jr. and Carrie were to experience so many customs, attire, and languages right in our own home. Little did our children know that they were involved in international peace. We had busloads of people from many different countries that ventured down into our utility room in the basement with our home's blueprints in hand to see how utilities were designed and built in an American home. Everywhere Barry went in the United States and abroad, Barry knew everyone's name, how to pronounce their name, and something about them and their families. And wherever he went as a family, and we were able to travel all over the world with him, people knew Barry. He so loved working for USEA, and he did so 24/7, 365 days a year, even when we were on a family vacation. Before the age of cell phones, we would be in an airport, and over the loudspeaker we would hear, "Barry Worthington, please come to the courtesy desk for a phone call." When we entered the airline's lounge, someone would inevitably say, "Barry, how are you? Where are you off to?" On the plane, someone would recognize Barry. Once we got to the hotel, the little light on the phone would be blinking because someone was trying to get a hold of Barry. Even when Barry and I were in South Korea, when we were about to get into a taxi, the man coming out of the taxi said, "Barry Worthington, how are you?" Barry was recognized at theme parks, beaches, and local restaurants. I don't know how our children did it. They were always on their best behavior because we never knew when and where someone would recognize Dad. And that was okay. We knew Barry belonged not just to us, but to the world. Barry thoroughly enjoyed working with the staff and members of USEA. The organization was never complacent. Even during COVID, USEA was forward-thinking and reinventing themselves. Barry cared deeply for his staff. Myself being a school principal for many years, Barry and I talked about leadership a lot. How could we support our staff and treat them as we would our family members? Barry made leading USEA look easy, but I can tell you, there were challenges that USEA overcame with dignity and grace. And Barry was not one who would let USEA be intimidated. I can also tell you that some of the countries where USEA conducted business were not all hospitable. And in a few rare cases, we were fortunate that Barry returned home safely to us. Perhaps one of the highlights of Barry's career was USEA's Penn State Energy Days. Barry was an alum of Penn State and supported them in building relationships in the utility world. In fact, with the help of USEA's Ms. Kim Grover, who gathered together an outline of all that USEA did to partner with Penn State, we were able to place the first ever, the inaugural, Penn State bronze logo on Barry's grave marker. In addition to Ms. Kim Grover, and is she here? Can she just raise her hand so we can recognize her? Thank you, Kim. Who has given so much support to our family since Barry's passing. I would also like to recognize a few other staff members whom my children and I have known since the humble beginnings of USEA. Brian Kearns, Will Poland, Albert Dobb, Marjorie Jean-Pierre, Andrew Palmatier, Sharon Lucas, Tricia Williams, Tony Patanti, Natalia Fominique, Sarah Blanford, and Elliot Roseman. And board members, Sheila Hollis, Vicki Bailey, Daniel Jurgen, Robert G., Majid Murad, and Randall Rowe. And longtime friends of USEA, Walker Sisler, Tom Kuhn, Don Jordan, Llewellyn King, Linda Gasparello, Bob Schweitzer, and Bronco Terzek. All of these were household names to us. Thank you to everyone who sent us condolences when Barry passed away over 4 years ago. The outpouring of love was very much appreciated. I also want to thank Guy Brock, whom I married in May. Guy, raise your hand so that they can see you. Whom I married in May of this year, for all the support he has given to my family and to me as well. Guy lost his wife Liz about 4 years ago to breast cancer. And we can both tell you that you never really get over the loss of your spouse or move on. The same with great leaders of organizations, great visionaries like Barry. They're never really gone. We can't erase their memory or edit their existence out of history. Their presence lives on. Their vision lives on. And so staff and members of USEA continue to carry out that vision of peace through energy. Be the agents of diplomacy that you were meant to be. And to Barry K. Worthington, and I know you're with us, we miss you every single day. Thank you for your selfless service and love to your family, to the United States of America, and to the world.